Okay, welcome to Accelerated Math. This is verify solutions of equations. You're not going to hear that direction given very often in this. Most of the time you're going to hear solve the equation or solve for x or solve for the variable. And I wanted to include this one because it's a little bit unique and it gets you thinking about what it means to verify a solution. Okay, now most of us that are getting ready to work this could pretty easily work this equation, and I wanted to show you or refresh your memory on this. I mean, you basically are doing the opposite operations. And in other words, here you can see it's minus, so we're going to do plus, and so we're going to do plus 4, and we're going to do it to both sides of the equation. So we're going to do plus 4 over here. I'm going to draw a line. I'm going to rewrite what I have left. I've got 2x. The negative 4 and positive 4 cancel each other out or zero each other out. That's what our goal was. 5 plus 4 is 9. And then now we got to continue to get x by itself. Right now it's 2 times x. When 2 and x are put together and there's no symbol in between it or operation between it, then it's understood that it's multiplication. So anyway, this is multiplication. We have to do the opposite. Again, the opposite of multiplication is division. So we're going to divide this by 2, and we have to do it to both sides. We're going to divide that by 2. Those 2 cancel out or reduce to 1. We're left with x equals, well, 9 divided by 2. You can either write it as 9 halves. In fact, you can see the answer here is 9 halves. Or you could have written it as, you could have done the division. 2 goes in that 4 times that, subtract, you got 1 left over, so it's 4.5 or 4.5, however you want to represent it. But you can see in the multiple choice it's just listed as 9 halves. Okay. Now what do they mean? So what's the difference between that and what it says verify the solutions? Well, here's what I want you to think about a little bit. And on this particular objective, I know you're not used to your teacher saying use a calculator, but I'd kind of like you to use a calculator. Verify the solution. And I just want you to see that, well, I can, with this calculator, I can store that 9 over 2, 9 in the numerator, 2 in the denominator. Okay, I can hit enter. I can store that answer into x, the variable. All right, hit enter, and I've stored that in there. Now, when I go to 2x minus 4, I hit equals, and I want you to see that it came out to 5. Now, why did it do that? Because I stored the answer of 9 over 2 in for x, and I guess with this verify solutions, it's just verifying that it really does work. So this is a feature as you move into high school that you'll be able to do when you have solve for x kind of stuff. You can store that into the variable x, put in the equation without the equal sign, and just see if it's a true statement. Okay, so let's take a look at the next one. And so on these things, really what you're going to do is solve for it, but I want you to grab that calculator and verify that you really have the right answer. Now this one a little bit different, that's why I chose it. Here it says 24 minus x. I want to get x by itself. Kind of two ways to deal with this. Some people are going to do this. They're going to plus x to both sides, and now we have x plus 17 or 17 plus x. I'm going to write it as x plus 17 equals 24, and then minus 17 to both sides to get that over there, and x equals 24 minus 17 is 7. Okay. Other people are going to solve it differently, and they're going to recognize this positive 24 here. It's not a negative, it's a positive, and they're going to minus 24 from both sides. Minus 24 from both sides. They're left with negative 7 over here and negative x over here. And you can see why some people would like not to do it this way, because they get a little confused here. But this is negative 1x. Well, if I want to really get x by itself, I need to get the negative 1 off there. It's negative 1 times x, so I'm going to divide by negative 1, and I'm dividing this side by negative 1. So I get x equals, what's a negative divided by a negative? Positive. So it becomes 7 over 1. And of course anything over 1 is itself, so the answer is 7. So we get the same answer both ways. But look at the calculator. I want you to see this and start using this on tests. If you come up with 7, and I want to store that, and watch the keystrokes here, I want to store that in for x. Hit enter, Now I'm going to go back to my equation, 24 minus x, and I'm going to put that in the calculator, 24 minus x, and it should come out to, well, look at the original equation, 17, and it does. Okay, really cool feature. Calculators, you're generally going to be able to use these on tests in high school, so take advantage of it. Start really learning how to deal with that calculator. Alrighty, so we had 7 there. Looking at this next one, pretty easy. Minus 1 to both sides. I got 5x equals 2. I'm dividing by 5. I get 2/5. Nothing difficult about that one. Next one. Alright, I chose this one just because, again, it had that minus sign. See if you could pause this and solve this one before I show you. Go ahead and hit the pause. Okay, welcome back. Alright, let's see. So what am I going to do? 10 equals 15 minus x. I kind of like what some people are going to do, plus x to both sides. These are not like terms, so the best you can write it is as x plus 10 or 10 plus x. I like to write the variable out in front there. That's kind of more of standard form. X plus 10 equals 15. Now subtract the 10 from both sides. This is kind of the safe way to do it. You didn't have to divide by a negative. It was kind of a safe way to go. You stayed away from negative values. So got x equals 5. And that's it. Alright, enjoy those verifying equations. Try with the calculator after you get your answer and see if you really got it correct.